Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm so excited because this recipe is so outrageously good. I've been dying to share it with you. I'm making a one-pan chicken and orzo bake, if you will. Everything happens in one pan. You don't have to cook the orzo separately. It is so delicious. And if you are a fan of, remember last year I posted a recipe that I called my favorite salmon and shrimp recipe that had like a wine, Parmesan, creamy sauce situation that I just kind of came up with out of nowhere. It has become one of our weekly favorites. It's become one of your favorites. I think that video has like almost 1 million views. It's very well loved. And I had the idea of using that sauce, that method with this. And it is chef's kiss, so good. I am just thrilled. Okay, I'm using bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. I love this. It kind of makes it feel more of like a roast dinner, if you will, but you can absolutely do this with chicken breast. If you are using boneless, skinless chicken breast, make sure you use the thick chicken breast, not split or sliced, and then just cook it accordingly. Otherwise, if you use the thin kind, it's just going to dry out really quickly in the oven, the cooking process, and we don't want that. I had the oven preheating to 400. I've got my shallow Dutch oven preheating with some olive oil. To my chicken, I'm going to season both sides with salt, pepper, and then any seasoning of your choice. I'm using my all-purpose seasoning, which is just granulated garlic, onion, some dried herbs, some chili flakes, you know, just a mixture of things basically, because I like the chicken to have really good flavor itself. I'm just going to use my left hand to pat it in. I like the chicken to have really good flavor as well, so I like to make sure it's seasoned really well. If you're using a store-bought seasoning, make sure you try and find a salt-free version, because you know me, I feel like sometimes seasonings can be really salty and then all you taste is the salt and not enough seasoning, because by the time you add enough to taste the seasoning, it's too salty. So I like to control the salt. My pan's not quite hot yet, so I'm just going to flip this on the other side and then season the other side. I'll skip the pepper because I really don't want to touch it with my dirty hand. Get your chicken in. Once you get your chicken in, try really hard not to move it or flip it or any of that, because you really just want to flip this one time so that it creates really beautiful color. I'm definitely adding more chicken than I should, because I should really be doing this in 2 batches, but I don't feel like it. So you just want to sear the chicken for about 4 to 5 minutes per side, flipping it just once. And in the meantime, I washed my hands, by the way. And in the meantime, I am going to just chop up some shallots and some garlic. I already have some tomatoes, and then we'll keep on keeping on. Look at that gorgeous color. Flip the chicken over. Let it cook another, I'd say 4 to 5 minutes. Beautiful. I'm going to put a screen on. Again, another 5 minutes or so. I've got my shallots going, my herbs, and my tomatoes have been halved. My garlic is diced. Ready to go. I just want this to develop a bit more color, and I'm going to get rid of some of the drippings because I only want a couple tablespoons, and I can tell that there's quite a bit in there. I'll assess once the chicken's done being seared. Chicken is done. I'm gonna go ahead and add my shallots. I did get rid of some of the drippings. See, I just felt like it was a little bit too much, and I really just need a tablespoon or 2. And as we introduce liquid and as the shallots start to soften, it will lift all these really gorgeous bits that are at the bottom of the pan, which are like a foundation of flavor. And you never want to get rid of those unless they're burned. These are not burned. These are a gorgeous brown, but if they're black, that means that the spices have burned, and you do want to get rid of those because that means that they will be really bitter, and nobody wants that. But look what's happening. Because of the shallots, they're just starting to release, and I'm just helping them out. And I'm just going to keep this happening for a couple minutes total. Adding the tomatoes and the garlic. And I'm also going to go ahead and add my chopped parsley and chopped basil. Adding them at this stage is really going to bloom the flavor, and again, just going to create a really wonderful flavor base. Oh, It already smells insane. This is just gonna saute a couple minutes. I don't have to take it too far because remember this is going into the oven for 20 minutes, so I don't have to take it too far. I'm just gonna crank the heat up a little bit because I did lower it to get the chicken out so that it didn't splatter all over me. Oh, that looks good already. I did add a pinch of salt, and now I'm gonna add in the orzo. Orzo is just a very short, it's a small pasta. It's shaped like rice, but it is pasta, so it cooks like pasta. I like to kind of toast it for a minute in all of those beautiful juices. It gives it wonderful, wonderful deep flavor. I don't know if you can tell, but some of the orzo is already getting to a really beautiful nutty brown. And now I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with a little bit of white wine. You don't have to if you don't want to, but the thing that really made that recipe and that sauce so good is a combination of the tangy wine, and then I added some cream and Parmesan, and it was so divine and so delicious. It is unbelievable. I mean, it just kind of complements each other really well. Such a boost of flavor. You don't have to add it if you don't want to. Just skip it all together and add an additional 1/3 cup of stock to your stock mixture if you want to omit the wine. That's totally up to you. And then we're going to add a mixture of stock and heavy cream because this is what your orzo is going to cook in. So just don't fear. And then to it, one last thing before we go ahead and add the chicken back in is I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of freshly grated parm because again, it's so good in that recipe and it's pretty phenomenal here too. It gives you great flavor. Make sure that your stock and cream mixture has a pinch of salt in there because again, this is the only chance you have to season the orzo itself. And then you put your chicken back in, just like that, kind of surround that. And it's gonna cook up so perfectly all together. All right, turn this off. You don't even have to bring it back to a boil. You're just gonna pop that. I'm trying to find my mapping, which I lost. You're gonna pop it in a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it is done. 20 minutes later, I'm telling you, fresh basil on top. You can do some more parsley as well. The orzo has absorbed the whole thing, all the sauce. My mouth is watering. The chicken is fully cooked through. Look at this. Look at how creamy and delicious this orzo is. Look at that. All this needs is a little salad, maybe some mixed greens, okay? And that's pretty much all you're gonna need because honestly, I like a little herb situation and I like a little bit of heat. So I like a little bit of hot pepper flake. It is so good, so good. We made this the other night and it was just like delightful. The chicken is like falling apart. The skin's really crispy. So if you're going to be doing chicken thighs, skin on, look at that. Delish, as I knew it would be. The orzo is perfectly cooked. It's so good. Great for a weeknight. Superb for a weekend if you have people coming over and you want to make something that's super, super easy. That, mixed greens, a little oil, a little bit of lemon juice, a pinch of salt, a fresh baguette, some chilled wine, store-bought dessert, and you have a phenomenal meal on the table with very little to no effort that everybody's going to love, fit for a crowd. I love this. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.